Hello, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out. Welcome to the SWYM-ing Pool with your host, Travis Bridges.
And that would be this guy right here. This one. Me. Travis Bridges. And welcome to the SWYM-ing Pool. It's another Wednesday edition of SWYM. It's the acronym for Say What You Mean. And I think it's very important that we say what we mean, because if we say what we mean, that means we mean what we say. And many people don't do that. Back in the day, they used to say a handshake would be good enough. And, you know, when you give your word is supposed to be that. Well, we all fall short of the glory of God. That's according to the good book. But we have an opportunity to repent. And when we know better, we're supposed to do better. And there's also a saying that says the youth is wasted on the young. And I'm I'm starting to find that out. I used to say old people need to shut their mouth. They're just jealous because they're old. Well, that's what you would say when you're young and you're hard-headed and you're stupid. Well, that's what I used to say. Well, I'm finding out that old people are not jealous. People just kind of want us to do good, you know, when we're young, and don't want us to waste our youth. So with that being said, I'm just going to leave it alone right there. Wait a minute. What did I just do? Oh, man, I just did something crazy. I got to get that back. Oh, my God. What did I do? Wow, this happens. Oh, I got to bring this back. Okay, let's see if I can fix it while I'm on the air. I dream of having tech people one day. Can I do that? Oh, yeah, here we go. But I don't right now, and I have to be okay with what I got. Well, guess what? We're going to have a pickup from last week. Last week, we were kicking off the first week of Black History Month, and I touched on that. But prior to going into Black History Month, I talked about something that was very difficult for me to talk about for a long, long time. It was the loss of my very dear, closest friend, Beverly, and former spouse. And I just was not able to talk about that for a long time. It wasn't until a couple of weeks ago that reality hit like a ton of bricks. And I believe that we overcome by our testimony, and I've got so much more to talk about in due season. Hey, Anthony Morrow, how you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in with me. And of course, I will be talking more about that as I continue to prepare my book. Yes, I'm writing a book, and I'm almost finished. I'm in the editing and arranging stages and trying to decide whether or not I'm going to go with a publishing company and get fancy, or I'll just do like I did my 2 CDs, just self-publish and just let the chips fall where they may. So far, so good. I'm okay with those. But just so you know, my 3rd CD is on the way. I've been threatening y'all with that for a long time. It's definitely going to happen. I promise you that. So continue to pray with me and wish me well, okay? Thank you in advance for that. Okay, so topics tonight. Oh, by the way, I do have a guest. I'm going to get on the phone in a few minutes. The guest is only going to be with me a short period of time because I'm doing something a little different. I have the guest, and I'm going to continue featuring, my Black History Month. I have a special. I'm going to talk about Muhammad Ali. and his contributions to American Black history and world history in general. We're going to talk about, and then, my special is going to be the truth. And I'm also going to feature Muhammad Ali. So we're going to talk about Muhammad Ali, and I'm going to have my guest on the phone. So what I'm going to do right now is say hello to everybody and let you know, by chance, if you'd like to chat with me, I'd love to chat with you. Come on, man. Don't wait till, I'm blowing up on YouTube and then say, well, I remember when I used to beg people, and then you'll be trying to talk to me, and maybe you won't. But, talk to me and help me with my little channel, man. Help me subscribe. Travis Bridges and the number 2 at AOL.com is how you can send me a text, not a text message, but an email. If you have a subject you'd like for me to address. No, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a counselor of any kind whatsoever. But I believe through that knowing better and learning about myself and just growing and getting to the rightful old age of years old, that I know something and I want to be able to share it. And one of the things is just trying not to be biased or as biased when I'm analyzing circumstances and situations. So I've always thought that I could argue both sides of any case, because I think I'm that open to be able to see, the good, bad, and the ugly, and even be fair. Everybody probably thinks that about themselves. So maybe I'm not special, but I'm going to give it a shot at analyzing circumstances and situations, even the ones that I bring on my live stream, whether it's yours or not. So I'm going to get my guest on the phone. Again, we're going to talk, it's Black history, and I'm going to feature Muhammad Ali. I've got some clips that I'm going to use featuring Muhammad Ali, and I've got my special that I'm going to do at the end, and it's about truth. So let me see if I can get my caller. I would normally go to a commercial, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to jump right in, and my caller should be standing by. He promised me that he would, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to hear good. If you're out there, my tech people, please let me know if I'm sounding okay, and particularly my caller. Oh yeah, come on, man. Let's see, I told my caller that if I hadn't reached out by a certain time to call me back, and I don't want... Hold on a second, man. I can't do that with that. Come on, man. Okay, why don't I do that? Why don't I go to a commercial, and then I'll come right back with my caller, and then I'll get into my special extra. It's going to be good tonight. Hang in there with me. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to talk about some pretty controversial stuff. So hang in there and don't move. Okay, I'll be right back.
The Swimming Pool with Travis Bridges is a talk segment about talking. Talk about talking? Yes, talk about talking. It's designed to bring awareness to how we listen, how we hear, and what we do with the information we receive during communication. The mind is automatically programmed to protect the body and soul. It displays that through each and every encounter we experience. If any part of the body is threatened, the mind will automatically issue the flight command. The flight command to retreat to safety. Well, that same command is also deployed when our ego is threatened. The ego, yes, the ego. It's so natural and common, it happens oftentimes without us even knowing. Engaging in conversation and staying focused on what is present is considered mental fitness. It strengthens our emotions and helps us to gain control of our circumstances instead of having our circumstances overtake our thinking and our very existence. It's a difficult task to achieve because our feelings, beliefs, and desires are so strong that it causes us to totally disregard even the most common or basic reasoning. This live stream is only here to bring awareness to that subconscious process. Nothing or no one is actually wrong. However, The idea of being open to anything outside of what we've already concluded is golden, especially if the new information is transparent. The SWYM developers would like to say thanks for supporting, watching, listening, and sharing this information. Now, back to the swimming pool. Let's dive in and swim.
Yeah, let's dive in and swim. Well, there's two different types of swims. There's the kind that you do in the water, and then there's the kind you do when you're doing what I'm doing. And it's called Say What You Mean. It's like, thank you very much. So we're going to get right to it. Now, my caller that was standing by, I said just prior to the live stream, I said, hey, listen, if you haven't heard from me by 10 after the hour, I want you to call me on my studio line. Well, I reached out and I didn't get the call. And now it's 10 after. So I'm going to wait till 11 after. And at 11 after, I'm just going to go on with it. And then I'm going to shut the line down because I kind of had it set up. And it's not working like I thought, but you got to keep moving. When things don't go as planned. You can't quit. You can't give up. You just got to keep moving. Christine is in the house. Thank you, Christine S. Anthony Morrow is with me, and that means I've got two other people that are hiding out in the cut, maybe just one more, because I am one of the three that's left. And I'm just going to leave it right there. And I've got my little monitor over here, and I'm still rolling along. So again, we're going to talk about stuff tonight. It's Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to you. It is what it is. Let's just go ahead and celebrate it. That's what they gave to us. Let's just participate and be good little folks. Okay? I'm featuring Muhammad Ali. He contributed massively to Black history, and I've got a couple of bits that I'm going to play, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that made him good, bad, and ugly in the sight of many people. And I thought I was going to be able to talk about it with my caller, but I'm going to have to leave that alone. Not even going to be able to answer. But I'm going to go into my first spiel, and then I'm going to listen. And if I can pause, I'll try to do that. I don't think I can. I'm not up on my sophistication yet. Hey, Tasha, how you doing? Thank you so much for hanging out. Hey, it's going to be good tonight, Tasha, so hang in there with me. We're talking about Muhammad Ali as we celebrate Black History Month. And I'm going to also go into my special at the end where we talk about the truth and what it means to me. So right now I'm going to go right into the first clip, and then we're going to talk about what he says. But these are a couple things that I want to pay a special attention to. So if you're in the chat room, you can talk about these, or you can talk about them later after you watch them a couple of days after this airs. We're talking about, let's see, what did he say? We're talking about him dodging the draft. Or supposedly dodging the draft. That's what he was supposedly had done. So with that being said, oh yeah, what are we talking about? He made some comments. So we're going to talk about these comments, and you're going to hear them in a few minutes. He says that he wasn't going to go to war by joining the armed forces, and that they told him that he had two choices. They say you either go to war and fight in the armed forces, in other words, join the army, or you go to jail. And his response was, if justice prevails, I won't go to either. That was a strong statement. Think about it. Now, there was a law and a rule that says, after 21, if you're an American, you must accept the draft and or register. Hey, Robin. Robin is listening. Come on, man. What's going on here? So yeah. And he didn't sign up, for his own reasons. And And, you know, he had his reasons. He didn't go to war and he didn't go to jail as he was supposed to. And so we're going to hear him talk about that. And then some of his critics says, you fight all the time. You're a fighter. You're the champ. You fight in the ring all the time. So why can't you go and fight for the country? Of course, he had his response, and you will hear that. And if you do the research, you can hear many reasons why he said he would not do it. But what he said in particular was the difference between fighting in the ring and fighting, you know, in another country against people who looked like him or who did nothing to him. So that's another thing as we celebrate Black History Month and the contribution that Muhammad Ali in particular made. Also, let's see, what's the third thing? Is it just two? Oh, he said another thing. He said part of the rules, and I guess this is part of the rules or the law, that if you were a religious minister, that you were exempt from the draft. I didn't know that, but I guess it doesn't matter. But let's focus again on those three things. Ministers were exempt. He talked about that. He felt like he was a minister, so he was, he was denying or, refusing to go to war, for religious reasons. That were one of the things that he said that is why he was not going to go to war. They call it dodging the draft. I'm not sure if that's what he was doing or not. If it is, then it is. But he just said he refused to fight under those grounds. And again, either going to jail or going to fight. And then he talked about justice and the difference between fighting in the ring and fighting on the front line against people that look like him that did not do anything to him. So let's go to the first clip and let's listen. Are you ready? As we celebrate Black History Month in the good old US of A.
It has been said that I have two alternatives: either go to jail or go to the army. But I would like to say that there is another alternative, and that alternative is justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Muhammad Ali has just refused to be inducted into the United States Armed Forces.
He refused induction on the grounds of his religious convictions on war.
My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some poor hungry people in the mud for big powerful America and shoot them for what? They never called me nigger.
Muhammad Ali is really important in this because when Ali refuses induction, there's a famous column in the New York Times written by Tom Wicker where he just wonders out loud what would happen if you had 100,000 Muhammad Alis.
And let's stop for a moment. What would happen if there were 100,000 Muhammad Alis back then? Not only just as it relates to going to war, but what about if there were 100,000 other people who stand up for something that may or may not be the right or the best thing? Just something to think about.
You had 100,000 people who were prepared to do what Muhammad Ali just did. You would bring this war to a stop. So the draft resistors set that kind of as a goal.
It took an all-white jury less than a half hour to find Muhammad Ali guilty of all charges, 5 years in prison, and was fined $10,000.
No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't.
I find nothing amusing or interesting or tolerable about this man. He's a disgrace to his country, his race, and what he laughingly describes as his profession. He has been found guilty. He is out on bail. He will inevitably go to prison, as well he should. He's a simplistic fool and a pawn.
Do you share the same?
Now, those are opinions of people. Those are opinions of people who didn't believe like he did or think like he thought. Those strong opinions. Called him a fool and said he was going to inevitably go to prison, and said he was so many other things. But let's just keep listening.
Concern that Muhammad has for his draft status?
Oh, I certainly do. My views on the draft are very clear. I'm against it. And I think the sooner our country does away with the draft, the better it will be for everybody.
Let's see if I can back that up a little bit. I didn't realize I had the ability to do this, but let's listen.
And what he laughingly describes as his profession. He has been found guilty. He is out on bail. He will inevitably go to prison, as well he should. He's a simplistic fool and a pawn.
Do you share the same concern that Muhammad has for his draft status?
Oh, I certainly do. My views on the draft are very clear. I'm against it. And I think the sooner our country does away with the draft, the better it will be for everybody.
Well, that was the opinion of the late, great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said he was not for the draft. And as soon as, well, you heard what he said. I won't repeat it. But this is interesting to me because, it happened. Anybody's going to say anything, or are y'all scared to talk about this? This is a tough subject. But I'm going to go on to the next clip. It's a little longer than that one, and then I'll go into my special. So here we go. No, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for this special right here. Okay, you ready? Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank the student governing body for inviting me here to speak at this beautiful and worthy occasion tonight. And I would also like to congratulate them on their great, splendid stand to stop the bloody war that's now going on in Vietnam.
Now, I want to say something. And again, maybe as a host of a live stream or talk show, whatever you want to call it, maybe I should do more research. But that's why I don't, because I like to just talk about talking. And I guess if I had a guest, then maybe the guest would have more knowledge to me. I can't sit here and say that I know why the war was going on. But he just made a statement that was interesting. And he said about stopping it. Let's listen to that again.
Congratulate them on their great, splendid stand to stop the bloody war that's now going on in Vietnam.
So he's congratulating somebody for standing on stopping what he called the bloody bath war for, what's going on in Vietnam. Of course, that was back then. And of course, he's talking about it right now. And I don't know why it was. Maybe I'll do my research and have another live stream on, why the war was going on. But let's just keep listening a little bit more, okay?
And as a Muslim minister, my own outlook. As a Muslim minister, my own outlook on war and violence is well known by now.
Well, I wonder if he's going to say it now. I can't remember. He said his outlook on war and violence is well known, but maybe he's going to repeat it again. And if you agree with it, why? Or why not if you don't agree with it? So here we go.
And I would like to say that the number one greeting in my faith is peace, and that is Assalamu alaikum, which means may peace be unto you. There have been many questions put to me why I refuse to be inducted into the United States Army, especially as some have pointed out, many have pointed out.
Okay, I'm going to stop again. That's major. I mean, as a citizen of any country, you know, depending on how you tell the story, to dodge the draft or refuse to fight for the freedom that we all have, that's bad. Again, depending on how you tell the story or who tells the story. So I can see how, you know, that looks bad, you know, as an American to say I'm not going to go fight for the country. But is that what he said? Is that what he meant? Is that what actually happened? Tough situation to be in. Let's keep listening.
When not taking the step, I will lose so much. And I would like to say to those of the press and those of the people who think that I lost so much by not taking the step, I would like to say that I did not lose a thing up until this very moment. I haven't lost one thing. I have gained a lot. Number one, I have gained a peace of mind.
Now that's important. When you stand up, whether you're right or wrong, whether it's good or bad, when you do what you really believe, you know, there's nothing like having a peace of mind. I'm just going to go ahead and say amen to that. And he said that's what he gained when he made the very, very tough decision to dodge the draft or to turn his back on his country, to do those things. He was at peace with that. And again, it's not good. That's not a good report, depending on who's telling it. You know, if you are an American or you are a citizen of any country and then you violate what has been set in place, you know, for the citizens to do to protect that ground and that territory. This one's tough. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten on this subject, but I'm out there now, so.
I have gained a peace of heart. I now know that I'm in content with Almighty God Himself, whose proper name is Allah.
And by the way, this isn't about religion night now. This is, you know, celebrating Black History Month by acknowledging someone who contributed to Black history, particularly in the USA and in the world. And regardless of what your religious preference is or belief is, then that's between you and what you believe. But I just wanted to say that as we continue with Muhammad Ali and his contributions to Black history.
Also gain the respect of everyone here today. I have not only gained the respect of everyone here today, but worldwide I have gained the respect. People all over the world. And by taking the step, may have satisfied a few people who are pushing the war. Even if the wealth of America was given to me for taking the step, the wealth of America and the friendship of all of the people who support the war, this will still be nothing if I am not content internally and if I'm not in accord with the will of Almighty Allah. As you read the newspapers and the press now, you see that I am now in court. I am in court seeking justice under the laws of the land. In this country, the United States of America, ministers are exempt from the armed services.
Now, that's the part I was talking about. He said ministers were exempt from the armed services. I didn't know that, and maybe I'll investigate that and talk about it. You know, is that good, bad, right, wrong? Ugly, pretty? Is it fair? What is it? You know, ministers are men and women just like other citizens. And I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying it's just interesting that, you know, he used that, you know, in his effort to be exempt also. So
And
let me back that up a
if
little
it
bit.
of America and the friendship of all of the people who support the war, this will still be nothing if I am not content internally and if I'm not in accord with the will of Almighty Allah.
Oh yeah, I backed it up too far. Here we go.
As you read the newspapers and the press now, you see that I am now in court. I am in court seeking justice under the laws of the land. In this country, the United States of America, ministers are exempt from the armed services. And if they choose, I am a Muslim minister and a teacher of the religion of Islam. It has been said that I have two alternatives: either go to jail or go to the army. But I would like to say that there is another alternative, and that alternative is justice. And if justice prevails, I will neither go to the army nor will I go to jail. They say that actually every time that I enter the ring, in a way, I'm going to war. They say to me daily, "You are a prize fighter. What's the difference?" And I like to say to those critics of the press and to the others that there is one hell of a lot of difference in fighting in the ring and going to war in Vietnam. Boxing is nothing like going to war with machine guns, bazookas, hand grenades, bomber airplanes. My intention is to box to win a clean fight. But in war, the intention is to kill, and continue killing innocent people. That's what the prisoners in war. I would like to hear this from you, and I want the world and the cameras to hear. Who's the heavyweight champion of the world?
He had a lot to say, and he always wanted to brag a little bit. You know, I guess he was the greatest in.
And I'm very pleased and thankful for being here. And that's all I would like to say. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he had a big mouth, and I heard he said it ain't bragging if it's true. Whether he was right or wrong for deciding not to join the armed forces or to go to war, you know, that's another story, maybe another live stream. But he did brag a little bit. Christine says, ever since conscription was adopted by the U.S. during the Civil War, ministers, priests, and seminarians have been automatically exempt from military draft. Okay, I learned that. And if that's how it is, then that's how it is. Okay, I don't know what conscription is. Maybe I need to do some homework and find out. Begin your research with reading the Selective Service Act of 1948. No, I won't do that. But thanks for the advice. I'm going to do something, though. I do have one more that I call the special that Muhammad Ali did, and it's regarding the truth, and it hit me at home. And I'm going to pull up what I did when I first heard this week. But I'm going to try to get my caller back on. I was called. It's going to be interesting now because now we're kind of off the deal here. And let's see if I can get my caller on. I'll do the interview with the caller, and before I go into the special. I do have a little time, which is good.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're live right now. I was expecting your call at a certain time. We're going to let that go. Can you give me like 10 minutes right now? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, my subject tonight, I'm honoring Black History Month, and I'm talking about those who contributed to Black history, particularly in America, but abroad, of course. And if I was to say a few names, I have no doubt you would know who I'm talking about. And just so happened tonight, I'm talking about one of my favorite athletes, and that is the greatest, Muhammad Ali. What do you got to say about the greatest, the champ?
Uh-oh, you start breaking up. What happened?
Oh, my goodness. I was saying that we were talking about Black History Month. Did you hear that? Did you hear me?
I hope you can hear me because I'm not able to pick you up. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. And if you can't hear me, that's going to be the end of this. You're not able to hear me now?
I'm not able to bring you through. Well, we're not.
Okay.
Our signal is not great.
Okay, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to do part two. I'm going to get with my caller. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect from you now, unless you can hear me. Try one more time. Can you hear me okay? Yes or no? No? I guess not. Okay, well, that's the end of that. And let me just shut this down so I'm not disturbed by this particular line. I need to charge it anyway. So that's going to be the end of that. So I do have my special, and it has to do with truth. And before I go into it, I'm going to share how I came about this. I was riding back from a gig. I did a gig in Orlando last week, and I don't like to do too much driving, but that was a good one, well worth the drive. And I went there, and on the way back, of course, I listened to lots of YouTube stuff, and I was listening to stuff, and this particular bit came on, and I was like, whoa, that's good, man. That's good stuff. And I shared it on my social media, and of course with a few of my friends who like having conversations with me. And it's something that Muhammad Ali said about the truth, and it's a poem that he wrote. And I thought I would compliment his already success with the opposite of the truth, and it's a lie. So I'm going to go ahead and say thanks to Tasha and to Robin and to Christine and to Anthony Morrow and Annie and everybody else that are listening now and that will listen later. Thanks for tuning in. But I'm going to read my poem, and then I'm going to play Muhammad Ali's poem on the truth. I'm going to talk about a lie, and then I'm going to let him talk about the truth, and then I'm going to go ahead and say good night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. It's SWYM, SWYM. It's the acronym for Say What You Mean, and I'm hoping that you will get better at saying what you mean and meaning what you say and letting it be the truth if you can. Okay, so here's my poem as we continue to celebrate Black History Month. A lie is the offspring. Wow, that's not. Oh, here it is. Okay. A lie is the offspring of darkness and defeat. A lie is the Hail Mary before hell's fiery heat. A real good lie may buy a year or two. The mirror reflects the liar if a lie includes you. I think I'm going to read that again, and then I'm going to play Muhammad Ali's poem on truth, or the truth. One more time, okay? Because it's deep, and it's kind of personal to me. So here we go. A lie is the offspring of darkness and defeat. A lie is the Hail Mary before hell's fiery heat. A real good lie may buy a year or two. The mirror reflects the liar if a lie includes you. Okay, thanks again for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. This is the actual ending, and enjoy, okay? Good night. Find somebody you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it, but find a way to show it and then show it, okay? Good night. Love you.
Yes, I've always been a great admirer of your ability as a poet. Have you had to work hard at it, or is it just sheer genius?
It comes to me. It comes to me naturally. And I do it mainly because of my fights, little simple rhymes. I just wrote a poem the other day entitled Truth. It says, the face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last. That's a masterpiece.
Now, did you... Yes, I've always been a great admirer of your ability as a poet. Have you had to work hard at it, or is it just sheer genius?
It comes to me. It comes to me naturally. And I do it mainly because of my fights, little simple rhymes. I just wrote a poem the other day entitled Truth. It says, the face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last. That's a masterpiece.
Now, did you...